Hello, everyone. I wanted to thank you for attending the Maine Park Playground Renovation Master Plan update meeting. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. When it's time for public comment, please use the raise your hand button and we'll unmute you so that you can speak. I'd first like to introduce everyone that's here with us from the Park District and our consultants. I'm Jennifer Meunier. I'm the project manager for the Park District. We have Gail Mountcastle, who's our executive director.
Good evening.
Pardon? April Armour is our superintendent of recreation. Terry Wolf is our superintendent of buildings and grounds. Margaret Holler is our marketing director. Julie Grieve is our recreation manager. Marianne Lucars is our executive administrative assistant. And then from Upland Design, we have Michelle Kelly and Liz Defoe. So the purpose of this meeting tonight is to provide an update on the Maine Park Playground project. As many of you know, the existing playground is almost 30 years old and way past due for replacement. Last year, we began the planning process, and on January 25th of this year, we held our first public meeting in which Upland Design presented 3 distinct concept plans for the space, followed by an interactive survey. Following that meeting, a district-wide survey along with the plans and renderings was made available for anyone who was not able to attend that meeting. We had great feedback from that process. We had over 300 respondents to the survey. So Upland Design took all that feedback and synthesized it all and incorporated the most highly rated play elements and comments and created one final proposed master plan, which we plan to construct in 2023. We think you're really going to love the plan. And at this point, I'd like to hand it over to Michelle Kelly and Liz Defoe to take you through what they've been working on since our last meeting. Michelle and Liz.
Hey, thanks, Jennifer. All right, so here is our agenda for the evening. We're going to review the community voting so you all can see the results. Then we'll walk through the final concept in detail, and then we'll review the schedule of how we're moving this project forward. All right, so first, which is your favorite overall theme? And you can see right up here, just on each of these, we have 312 respondents. And then we also had 17 voting in our public meeting. So all of this is a capture of all that information. And for the overall theme, 57.7% went to the wetland, concept A. And then you can see here's our other 2 with B and C. So we obviously went with the wetlands. Which is your favorite overall concept? So this was more about the actual site plan and its layout. And we had concept A winning at 44.2%. So you can see that. And this is an image. You can see what concept A looked like. Which 5 to 12 play structure is your favorite? Overwhelmingly at 67.9% was concept C. So here you can see what that concept looked like. And you will see when we do show you the final, that is all of the items are very close to what you saw was voted for, with some minor adjustments taking into account people's comments and trying to make each of the concepts just a little bit better. Then please rank the following components from your most favorite to least. And going across here, the Omni Spin was our first, the We Saw second, and the Rock Climber third overall for people's voting. And then which 2 to 5 play area was your favorite? And concept A won at 52.6%. And this is what that piece looked like. So also, we asked about the interactive discovery stream and how important that feature is in the final design. So our very important was 47%, and somewhat important, I like it, at 37.8%. So altogether, it substantially led us to believe that this was a very desired component, and you will see that in the final. 3 concepts provide various shade options. How important is shade? And 66.7% said very important. And then also some data information that helped us understand who was voting. We have 37.3% of respondents within a 10-minute walk, and then another 23% within 20, and finally the 15.8% at 30%. So a lot of people able to actually walk to the site, and then just a little less than a quarter that lives further away than walking distance. All right, so now the unveiling, the final concept plan based on everyone's input. And you will see this has been adjusted a little bit from the ones you saw in the meeting number 1 to try to bring in all of the components people were asking for, as well as layer in some of the pieces that people asked about or gave us extra comments about, whether it was in the public meeting or in our voting. So our overall layout, this structure here is our 5 to 12 structure, and you can see it has ramp access here. This is very similar to the one that you saw in the concept, but with the addition of more shade. You can see here, and we'll see a 3D in just a moment. This is our 2 to 5 area, so these are the pieces that were voted most highly. And then you'll see some of the independents, and I have some fun images of those. Then there's additional shade here with a couple benches, and a couple tables here with additional shade. And then as an alternate to the overall project, a shelter over here to add to the park site. Because it didn't fit into our original budget, we're looking at it as a potential alternate so that if our prices come in really low and we can afford to do it, then it gets added in during the construction part of the project. And then this guy right over here is our interactive stream that you see, and a walkway that comes up to the high point here where you can get right onto the deck. Also works really well to allow our interactive stream to have a high point here and then flow naturally down to this point here where we can have it recirculate. And then we also have seating and accessible access to that from both the low area and the high area in the plan. All right, now we're going to go into some details. First, here is our 5 to 12 structure. So we have ramp access right here and coming onto a main deck with some panels, climbers on both sides. And again, ramp access to here and here. This is that big rock climber that you saw that people voted on. And you can see on this angle, we have 2 slides. Then there's another slide hiding over here and another one hiding over here. So let's look at the other side. Oh, and here's our rocks with the extra animals that are right in the rocks, and it also plays into our wetland theme. The opposite side of the play structure, and you can see that slide that was hiding, and then also an easy stair right here for getting up onto this platform here, and then up through the middle there's a ladder to get to this high point, a periscope to look out from, and then you can see this nice tunnel slide. Also there's a nice set of stairs here for easy access. So there's complements of areas to climb and challenge kids to get up to high spots, but also easy stairs and ramps so that people with mobility issues or maybe caregivers that don't want to climb up the rock wall can easily get to the kids. And then here's one more view. You can see these log climbers here, another climber here, fun panels on the deck, and of course our added pieces of shade. Moving on to the 2 to 5 play area. This is a lot of ground level play, and it really builds on that wetland theme with this water area here, a bridge over it. We have some lily pads in the important plate surfacing, as well as this is blue with our turtle crawling right out of the pond area or the wetland. And then we have some grasses that are bending over to climb on, as well as some really tall grasses that you can step across and then step onto the turtle. Other 2 to 5 pieces include this extra mound. So we go low here and go high here so kids can get up here and slide right down into the pond. And then there's also little talk tubes that look like flowers. And you can see off to the side, we have the Omni spinner and mushroom table and toadstools if you want to just rest or have a little picnic at the edge of the playground. Right next to this 2 to 5 wetland is our music play area. It's also kind of on the edge where we're going to be able to add an island of trees here and here. And then we also have existing trees that we're saving and protecting in place so that the music area will have some shade. And you can see some of these fun ones that have different sounds as you hit them, but they also play into the overall theme of the wetland with a dragonfly and leaves and flowers. And then here's our independent pieces. Off on the far west side, we have a 6-unit swing and then a 66-foot long zip line here. And then as you saw before, the Omni spinner. So this gives you an image of what that zip line looks like. It's you walk up here and then you can sit or stand as this young lady is doing and zip across the from high to low. One other thing to point out is that this area here is brown, showing that it's going to be a wood chip area, while the main space here where most of our play components and our 2 to 5 area is will be a rubber surfacing. When you're up here at this high point, it actually mounds down. And then when you go along this walk, we actually have some limestone outcroppings, so you can sit and actually kind of watch the fun that's going on in the playground. Here's our discovery stream, the interactive piece that where water will flow from up high down low, and the kids will actually be able to pump the water with a hand pump to be able to turn the gushing on and be able to turn it off again. In addition, we'll be planting some native plants along here and having some interpretive signs to talk about how those native plants work positively for habitat and create food for our wetland animals. Now for bench locations, we have 2 here, 1 here, and 2 over here. And that way that we have lots of spaces for shade, but you'll also be able to sit in along these rock areas. And then our shade components here, and of course the 2 here, and then the large one here. And I'll just point out under this one, we have 2, what's more of a picnic table seating. And then under here will be long picnic tables, much like you might see in a rental shelter. All right. So just a couple other things on our schedule. The final master plan is to be reviewed in May of 2022 with the board. And so the construction document phase would follow, and that would be in 2022. We also do permitting then, bidding in the fall, and then construction in 2023. The dates for the actual construction have not been set yet, as we're still kind of playing with the supply chain issues, but we're hoping that the playground is we keep it up until we know we have the equipment on the way. All right. So so back to our final master plan, I just want to point out a couple other things. This is an existing walkway that'll be partially replaced to connect into the park. It connects up to existing pathway here. And then a lot of the trees you see around the outside edges are existing trees that we're keeping in place. And finally, we also have a new rain garden that is added over here on the east side. And that rain garden will also have some native plantings, and we'll be able to take any stormwater drainage. So the whole playground will have an under drainage system that will flow out. And one other thing you can see in this kind of plan view are these fun fishies. So we have added lily pads. You see a frog guy here. Of course, this is our water area. And then other little added pieces that really tie into that wetland, pond, nature theme that we see in many areas of Maine Park, and we're pulling into the playground. All right, I'd like to open it up for questions.
Just a reminder, if you do want to speak, use the raise your hand function. It's a little hand icon on your screen, and I'll unmute you so you can speak.
It's a quiet crowd.
Jim O'Donnell, you could unmute yourself to speak.
You knew that I would, right?
Of course.
Okay, so I have two questions. With the swings, I couldn't tell how many, baby swings and how many big kid swings.
So there's four belt seats here, and then we have a full ADA bucket where a bigger kid can kind of sit it, and then one tot bucket, really for that younger 2-3-year-old.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm not visualizing exactly the current layout, but we just put in a shelter. So is the thinking that it's too far away and we would supplement it with this new one, or what's the thinking there?
Terry, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. Yeah, I can answer that. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Good, Terry.
The picnic shelter is over on the other side of the the nature center, and so
Yep.
that's quite a bit further away. And so the idea is that if we could get the way to do this in the alternate, this would help serve this portion of the park, because it is kind of spread out and separated. And there's a lot of other uses that we have, and it's very popular at the other shelter as well. So
this would be kind of like the one that's at Centennial. Is that right? That's what I'm seeing in that picture there.
yeah, probably a little more similar to that in style and design, although what is shown here is actually larger than the one that's in Centennial.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Jim. It's April. I was going to jump in too and say that the pavilion at the Nature Center is very heavily used for our programs as well. So there's not as many opportunities just for, hanging out underneath and, other rentals as I think the community would like. So I think I would anticipate it to be more like the Centennial Shelter.
Okay.
Some days it's programmed fully next to the Nature Center.
Anybody else, please raise your hand and I can unmute you. I don't have anybody.
Is that all we've got then?
Looks like it.
All right, well, I wanted to thank everybody for attending our meeting tonight. Oh, do we have more?
I got Jim again. Go ahead, Jim.
I'm sorry, but just go. Am I? Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, yeah.
It just strikes us, Marty's here too, that just to have only one tot swing seems to undershoot the mark a little bit. It's we go to Centennial a lot right now, and there are two, and it's pretty often that both of them are occupied. So if there were only one, anyway, that's the way it strikes us. I'm trying to think how many tot swings are there up at the new playground in Northeast? I know there's there's the full, but aren't there? I don't know. Terry, do you know?
I don't offhand, but we can certainly take that under consideration and
Yeah.
take one more look at that. So
Yeah, think about that. So,
yeah. Appreciate the feedback, Jim.
thank you for allowing me to participate.
Of course. We're happy to have you.
I do have somebody that sent it in as a question. Sorry, let me open it up so I could read it better. I just wanted to say that I agree. I would prefer to have more than one top swing. So we got that as well.
Good feedback. Anybody else?
Another one that just agrees, more than one top swing.
I think that's an easy enough adjustment.
Anyone else? You could either use the question or raise your hand. I do have one more that came in as a question. Where in relation to this view is the primary building with the classrooms?
It's right up here. If you just walk north, you would come to the building.
Somebody questioned, aren't there currently 4 tot swings at the park? I thought there's 2, but somebody could correct me if I'm wrong.
There might be, there's 4 tot swings because they're separated.
Okay. I'm wrong.
Is the bucket one, Michelle, considered a tot swing or no? It's for all ages, but it could be for tots as well.
Yeah, it can be for tots because it does have a strap. So a tot can, like an older tot especially, would use it.
Okay.
Can we review the opportunities for imaginative play? They came late, so they didn't hear.
Like, so imaginative play can take so many different forms. What we try to do is have things that are both, especially in this site, have some fun theming, like the wetland or the animals, but then also have things like a periscope and a high spot to look out at that kids can use their imagination to create anything. So that high point might be a clubhouse or a tree house, but it might also be a spaceship. And then if you're going down the tunnel slide, it becomes a submarine. So the idea is that we give opportunities that both kind of push a little bit of the imaginative play with fun things like a turtle and grasses to walk through that are super big, but then also things that have less theming to it that the kids can create their own anything.
I think the music area as well, we talked about that, correct, Michelle, that music area?
That's a really good sensory space as well. I think that there's a balance between having lots of imaginative, which you see a little bit more with the like the turtles and the water and the land, and then having sensory play like the music and the water space here, and then the plants with the different textures. So there's a lot of layers of different kinds of play going on.
We did have another comment that just said, love the design and the theme. Thanks for incorporating nature and promoting native plants.
I think with 300 votes, it was really awesome to be able to kind of pull this concept together, because it really reflected so many different people in the community being able to give their input on what they wanted.
Okay. Someone else commented that they love the rain garden. Anybody else, you could use the raise your hand if you'd like, and I could unmute you, or you could type it in as a question. Yep. I see trees between the swings and the playground. How large will they be when they are planted?
Yes, so they'll probably be about a 3-inch caliber. So we'll see the limbing at about 8 foot off the ground. And then the top of the tree, depending on the species, could be something from maybe 14 feet to 16 feet tall. So not humongous, but the idea is that we put them in and then they grow.
Anything else coming in, Margaret?
Nope.
All right, this was a quick one. So the plans will be put on the website tomorrow for anybody who missed the meeting, if you want to tell your friends or neighbors. As Michelle said, we will be presenting this to the board on our first meeting in May, May 5th, for approval. And we do plan to construct this in 2023, probably in late summer, early fall, after camp. Thank you so much for attending the meeting tonight. Hope you enjoyed the plan, and we look forward to building it. So have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.